So, who am I? I'm Coach Brian. I've been an active professional in the health fitness industry since 2004, and an exercise degree. I've been a personal trainer many years. I've owned gyms for about 5. I've been a remote health nutrition coach for the last 10. So I talk to people all over the U.S. trying to help them improve their quality of life, lose weight. I have digestion issues. I've helped people with cancer. I even have had an Olympian in not only the Paris Olympics, but also Tokyo, Miss Sofia Renioso, as a kayaker. So I have a significant amount of experience. So I love engagement. It's a chat. So please hit up the chat box with questions and things that you're learning. And we'll certainly stop throughout to pause and get some reflections of what you are learning in this process, as well as we have little chat breaks, and we'll look to have more fun. The more you engage, the more you'll get out of it, of course. So, all right, let me share my slide here. All right, so everyone should see, and then I'm going to mute you, Paige. All right. Chat box is open and alive, so if you have questions, just throw them in there and I will catch on to them. Today's conversation is about retraining your brain, power of positivity, about being more productive, more focused, getting more out of life. In our days and times right now, and especially in our society, we have unlimited amounts of distraction, right? Just you stare at a screen all the time. There's notifications. There's this, there's that. And you look at your phone and there's ads and there's this. You drive home and there's more billboards and all these things that are constantly all these inputs. And we need to be able to understand how to manage everything that's going on in our environment to have the best outcome, the best lifestyle, the most rewarding, energetic, exciting situation here. So a couple of things on the agenda today. Benefits of a positive attitude and dangers of negativity. Where do you land in this? And understanding your strengths, your weaknesses around how your personality is. Reversing the thought process, retraining the brain for success, and positivity activity. So how do we get you constantly on the sun is always shining. I've got the sun, the light on my face is the natural sun. We've got blue skies and sunshine, no rainbows because it's not going to rain, but so the day is exciting, and we want to always carry that type of energy with us and never have like the case of the Mondays or something. Fortunately, today is Thursday, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, benefits of a positive attitude. I am definitely the sun is shining, the glass is always half full type of energy that you're always going to get. I have to do that just for myself to have this ever-changing world that we live in, and life is a journey, not a destination. The more that you have a positive attitude and positive reflection, the more opportunities you see. The way you look at the world and the lens at which you view it is going to give you the feedback in your experience. So if you have a positive attitude, beneficial things of like improving your lifespan, lower rates of depression, you are in less stressed state levels more consistently, regardless of how challenging a task is or how much life throws at you in any one time. You're greater at not getting the cold or a flu as we start to roll into our fall season here, being into September. You're psychologically and physiologically in a much more well-being or wellness state of mind and body. Better cardiovascular health. Why? You're probably moving more. You're much more likely to go walk or move or do some cardio. And in depth with that, you'll be less likely to have cardiovascular disease. You'll have better coping to manage what life has for us. All the curveballs that life is throwing, you could see as a way to sink your ship, or a curveball that you can learn how to hit and still get on base, so to speak. Now, a lot of people I work with, they always want to swing for the fences, and it's more like, hey, how about we just try to hit a single, get on base, and do the things we need to do every day to keep progress and productivity moving forward. So positivity in your brain, when experiencing positive emotions, we have things: joy, contentment, love, there's happiness, there's excitement, there's a lots of energy that you can bring into your life. Things are, more possibilities are always going to come. Right? Someone walks into the room and they just light up the room. People want to talk to them. They want to engage. And that's how things happen in life, how opportunities get created. If someone walks into a room and they don't open up and they kind of like go off in the corner by themselves, their experience of, say, that party or get together might be rather dull or boring, and it was lackluster at best. So positive emotions open your mind, turns you to build new skills, new levels of engagement, find being resourceful or looking for resources around you. And you get a lot of value out of just being in a happier mindset. People are more willing to work with you as well. So the act of just being happy provides many benefits. So simple things. Nerve connections are going to be continually growing. We have mental productivity. You can think more clearly. We're not having brain fog coming into your everyday life. You're able to have analysis, but not paralysis. So you can think through what all the inputs are that are coming into your brain, into your surrounding bubble, so to speak. It affects your view of surroundings. I could look out in my space here and I could see all the green, or I could see there's something to see. There's a lot of there's some brown spots as well. Like this one set of branches look like they're dying. Now I could certainly focus on that, or focus on like the 95% of the space is green. For humans, we tend to get drawn toward that negative. We get drawn toward like that one spot, in a sense. You increase attractiveness, right? If someone just has good energy, they're just fun to be around. Attractive being on many different levels, but like magnet attractiveness, right? You want to be around people that have good energy, that make life more fun. Leads to more happy thoughts. Less meds. Positivity in your brain. Thinking positive, happy, hopeful, optimistic, joyful are all thoughts that we can have, produce less stress. Cortisol produces more serotonin, gives your body more, say, dopamine hits, and the ever-present more acknowledgement of like ADHD and like attention deficit, and then we magnify that with, again, how I open this, with all the constant inputs that we have on ourselves. So like we're getting trained to be seeking out dopamine and these hits of finding external stimuluses to create a joy or happiness. And we don't necessarily need that. It's not a good thing to constantly be open to that. So by just being in a positive mindset, a lot of things happen. Neurons are getting transmitted through your body. You think and reflect on things that you're physically doing differently. You have a better emotional responses to things. It's not doom and gloom. It's more like, okay, this is inconvenient, but how am I going to be able to get around this? Meaning a solution-oriented mindset. Now, one of the things that I always do with my clients is we always open up calls with successes, because it puts them in a reflective state of what they're doing and working so hard on, regardless of what the outcome was of the week. Because you can control how much food you put in your mouth, you can control how much activity you do, how much water you drink, how much sleep you get. You can't control what the body does with all that. But if we have a good plan that's mapped out and reflects a positive, healthy lifestyle, then we're going to see the benefits And the benefits for, I'd say about 50-60% of people that I work with are weight loss, and they start feeling a lot better that way. Lastly, it gives you the ability to focus on whatever you choose. So you're not just distracted by squirrel or whatever shiny object that pops up. You can defer and eliminate those distractions. So what are some of the studies show with health effects? Well, according to Johns Hopkins University, people with a family history of heart disease who also had a positive outlook were 1/3 less likely to have a heart attack or other cardiovascular events within 5 to 25 years than those with a more negative outlook. So basically it says when you think more positively, the risk of illness, disease, death can go down quite a bit. And then that impacts the quality of your life significantly better. You know the people in your circle who are living an active, healthier lifestyle, taking care of themselves. You also know the ones who aren't, who are overweight and are negatively impacted by that situation that they are in because of poor health or poor outlook, even more importantly. So we want to be able to, say, decrease the risk of negative health impacts on your body. Now, also studies show that reduction in disease and risk factors. So Harvard School of Public Health, while most medical and public health efforts today focus on reducing risk factors for disease, evidence has been mounting that enhancing physiological resiliency by, say, staying positive may also make a difference. So this is about, say, coping and being able to manage the impact of what the day-to-day is, having that positive outlook on life. The study had 70,000 women over an 8-year period, which is a pretty significant amount of people and time. Stated the most optimistic women, the top quarter, had a nearly 30% lower risk of dying from diseases that their counterparts that were in the bottom half were likely to do. So we know this just intuitively as well. If you stay in a positive mindset, you're likely to just be healthier. Heart disease, stroke, respiratory disease, infections, diabetes, the list can go on. Cancer. Even people that do get cancer, if they stay in a positive mindset and do a lot of work around that, they're able to beat it a bit more. Their percentage of likeliness of surviving that increases than having a poor outlook. We also have better workouts. So another study from University of Pennsylvania measured the degree to which insurance salespeople were optimistic or pessimistic in their work. So one side of the coin, okay, yay, I'm changing people's lives through helping them insure themselves so that if they were to have any type of risk in their life, that they are covered. Whereas on the other side, they go into nobody wants to buy insurance. They always tell me no. So what it did attributed, including whether they attributed failed sales to personal deficits beyond their control or circumstances they could improve with their win. So optimistic sales sold 37% more policies than pessimists. Okay. When you I talk to people through the phone every single day. And having that energy, you can sense it, you can feel it, the impact that it can have and motivate and encourage someone to take a better step is significant. The other thing is, they were twice as likely to leave the company during the first year of employment if they had a negative outlook on the work they were doing. So positivity and your health. Love, again, these things are love, joy, gratitude. There's been a huge push of gratitude, like a gratitude journal and stuff, or journaling your happiness and things that bring you joy, and surrounding yourself with things that bring you that type of level of happiness. Joy flows through us, and allows us to think more clearly and more focused and be more open-minded to opportunities that come. So we're more creative, we're more collaborative, we're better at finding solutions and problem solving and coming together. This is the city of Atlanta, so it's important that you have a lot of people living in your metropolitan that you are coming together with a solutions-based positive mindset of how you're going to impact the community of which you serve. That's really important, not only just for you, but it's like 1 million people there that are relying on the city operating in a certain manner, a certain way. Think happy to be happy, right? You have 70,000 thoughts per day, some plus or minus 10K, depending on how active your brain is, which can either build you up or tear you down. We know that humans are more likely to go the negative route than the happy route, so it's very important to stay positive. The actions we take can expand or contract different regions of our brain, firing up circuits, neurons, or slowing them down. What we think, do, and say matters. If you believe it, you can achieve it, right? And if you don't think it can be done, then you're not going to allow it to happen. Even us being able to communicate was something that people thought couldn't happen before. This was the future of time, being able to virtually see people and meet with them across the way, right? In the last 100 years we've had communication broadening our world, the connectivity of our world being able to make it a lot smaller. So I've had conversations with people in different countries on the other side of the world even as a result of being able to just hold my phone and talk through it, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So we always want to look on the bright side and refocus the brain when negative thoughts occur. You have to train your brain to not allow negative thoughts to just run you down a negative rabbit hole. It's very easy to do. It's somewhat challenging to exit out of. So you really have to, the prevention is the cure in this manner. Doing your best to set yourself up in a way that doesn't allow negativity into your world by simple things like saying no or guarding your time better and delegating and being proactive and not procrastinating allows you to stay in the positive. So train your brain to focus on the positive starts with your awareness. So if you're not aware of a trigger that keeps showing up in your day, then you're always going to trip that wire in a sense, and the landmine's going to blow up. A simple thing for me in a workplace example for clients is starting the day off without any food and you just jump into caffeine. And you hit your high sugary latte, whatever, caffeinated beverage, and you go throughout the morning just running on that adrenaline and that stimulant there. But then having no food to back it up, and ultimately your blood sugars crash and you go hangry into lunch, likely not planned out for lunch, and you're making not the best decisions now for what you're eating, and then it consequently keeps you in this hamster wheel of just making poor decisions even around the food you eat, and ultimately you're ready for a 3 p.m. nap. If you're having a 3 p.m. nap, that's often manufactured by yourself. The way you are choosing to do life or make choices can create a plummet in your energy in the afternoon. Whereas if we're eating healthy foods, we're drinking our water, we have a balanced amount of caffeine, and we move generally throughout the morning, then you can really eliminate that 3 p.m. lull that most people get when they're working. What are the dangers of negativity? Well, enthusiasm goes down. Imagine if I show up and be like, all right, guys, today we're going to talk about positivity. Like, well, who is this joker? Like, what's going on? Like, wow, we're in for a real good treat here. Brian's on here and he's going to talk about being positive. right? Then that's not it. You instantly lose motivation, and you're very unhappy that you have to sit through this and listen to some guy drone on, right? We've all been to, meetings where someone has energy and it's a positive experience, and yet on the flip side, we're like, wow, this should have been like 5 minutes, and this guy kept talking too long, and it was just uninformative. It creates stress and negative anxiety, right? We don't need to add more anxiety in the world that we live in. There's just this constant strain on people these days to produce and to be always on and to all these things, and it creates more anxiety for people. You lack decision-making capacity, you procrastinate, you put things off, you don't meet deadlines in the capacity that you should. Negativity and how it impacts your health. Well, there's negative thinking slows down brain coordination. You can't process thoughts. Things get muddled. It's hard to problem solve, troubleshoot. When you're going to someone to talk about a situation, you can't collaborate with them to find an outcome that's positive in an effective way. You feel frightened, and life can be scary at times, and having just more negativity slows down your body's process and limits its information gathering ability to find creative problem solving solutions. Additionally, fear factor impacts the left temporal lobe, can affect memory, your mood, impulse control, so your mood is poor. You have a short-term memory at best, and you don't really make good choices, and it's very easy to sway your decisions of what you do. So what else? We have worry and negative thoughts trick the brain into thinking that there's an immediate threat that can kick into fight or flight, right? Like, I need to, say food. If I'm in a negative or worrisome state around food, I could have some sort of a food insecurity. And then therefore you eat too much, or you hoard food. You go buy a bunch of it and have it stocked up. I had a lady that she had some of that type of energy about her. We cleared out her pantry. We cleared out her cupboards. She had piles and stacks of boxes and bags and all these things that aren't necessarily good for her to eat anyways. Her pantry looked barren in comparison to what it once was. I said, Tracy, you live by yourself. You don't need a full stock pantry waiting for Armageddon to happen, right? There's food security. You always have access to food, and we need to just allow the brain to calm down in that sense and not feel like this is the last supper, so to speak. Negative experiences are stored in your brain by the amygdala, and which places responsibility for that fight or flight. Now, the thalamus is responsible for sending sensory and motor signals to the rest of the body. It does not compute negative thoughts aren't the same as real danger. So your body sends out hormones and sensory and signals, and it feels like there's a lion or tiger out in the way gonna eat you. But it's not. It's all this self-imposed stressful situation that you've built up in your brain of a situation that isn't going to happen. That's a real thing. When thinking negative thoughts, your body, your brain, your thalamus assumes that it needs to prepare to flee, and it's experiences real stressful situations. Like you have rapid heart rate. There's perspiration. You could be sweating. Your blood pressure's up. There's this heightened arousal state, and which could lead, if you're paired that with high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and being overweight for 2 decades, those negative sensations could lead to a heart attack or a stroke. The brain's response to negativity, the brain closes off from the outside world and really kind of harnesses that negative emotion. It multiplies it. Positive energy is addition. Negative energy is multiplication for humans. So you really have to do a good job of creating boundaries and guidelines and coping strategies, skills, and ways to manage it. When at odds with someone, anger and emotion can consume you to the point where you can't think about anything else, right? Say you're driving home and there's some road rage that happens. Someone cuts you off and all of a sudden, boom, your world's exploding, right? It's because someone got too close to your car and did it in an unsafe manner. And then because of, wow, that was a close one. Like, ooh, good thing. We're just going to give that guy some distance and let him drive off into the sunset and leave him alone. Like, that's one way to do it. Or another way, we see people end up in road rage and like cussing and flicking people off. And it can turn even worse with like chasing and other not good situations could come of it. And that was because someone got too close to your car in an unsafe manner. Whether they hit you or not doesn't matter. You could go either of those ways. When you're stressed out about a long to-do list, right, who doesn't have those? Like every once in a while, say the honey-do list, or just like the activities. I have 4 kids, 41, 4 kids. There's lots of responsibilities. My garbage disposal didn't want to turn off in the last week. My air conditioner, when it's 90, didn't want to turn on. My pool needs attention. I have an above-ground pool. I've got 4 kids, and there's my taxes are due, and I've got this long list of things that need to happen. It's called adulting, right? Welcome to being an adult and being responsible for something. If you don't want all those laundry lists of things, then don't own anything. Then your responsibility decreases significantly, but also your possible enjoyment in life may go up, may go down. It depends. I personally wouldn't mind going into more of a minimalist type lifestyle of not needing or wanting or desiring a lot. Like have just a little bit more simplicity, less ownership, less responsibility to decrease that to-do list. Because anything I just told you is just basic concepts of having a functioning house with a lot of people in it. So you end up becoming paralyzed and you just don't end up checking off that to-do list. It's very easy to put stuff off of simple tasks that could take 5 to 10 minutes to problem solve, troubleshoot, and not actually do. Then it gets into this whole host of you feeling bad about not completing the task, or even like on the healthier aspect here of like not exercising or eating healthy. All you do is think about how little willpower you have, how you're lazy, how you don't have any motivation. One thing I will assure you and promise you is that motivation and willpower are very poor things to rely on. They are never going to be there when you need them the most. Great example is you don't show up at work on time every day because you're motivated to, right? Not everyone's motivated to roll out of bed and shoot up and go to work and have a long Atlanta drive and through traffic hour to get there. Not it. But you do it because you agreed with your employer that I'm going to show up at this time and do the task that you have assigned to me. And that's why you go. But it's got nothing to do with motivation or willpower. You know that I need this job to pay the bills, to create this lifestyle that I'm looking to do. But it's very easy to just allow no motivation and no willpower to be an obstacle in the way for you. Having a negative attitude affects more than just your mindset. Berating yourself with after poor nutrition choices, skipping the gym, and all these things obviously lead to self-sabotage. And I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh, when's the plateau going to happen with a weight loss client? I'm like, it's not a plateau. My best clients just do the same things consistently over time and have similar progress week in and week out. I've seen it way too many times doing this over 20 years. Usually if someone's in a, quote, plateau, there are breadcrumbs of what they have done in the last week as to why they are experiencing what they are now. When you hold yourself a negative image of yourself, you rob yourself of much needed energy, right? How many of you might just even avoid the mirror because every time you look at it, it brings you down 2 clicks of energy? Like, that's not exciting. That's not ideal. And we want to be able to always have like an excitement about what we're doing and starts with just, again, positive emotion and energy to take better care of yourself, take better care of others as well. Having an upbeat mental state can improve your health, of course, lower blood pressure, reduce risk, and all those things help manage your weight better, your blood sugar levels, and ultimately, obviously, lead to a healthier lifestyle. So why is it so hard to be positive sometimes? Well, our brain, our convenience of living, everyone in this Zoom call can probably agree that we're more fortunate, more blessed, more accessible to more than most people have had in the entire world and the all of human civilization, right? You could instantly communicate with someone across the world right now. Only kings and queens and very, very few people, even 500 years ago, had access to that type of capacity, and it took much longer than a couple buttons on this rectangular device and stuff. So accessibility, like in the last 8-9 years, I've traveled to 50 states. I've gone to multiple continents. We went in April, we did a safari and hit up the pyramids with our 4 kids. Those were things that presidents did, kings and queens did, not just somebody, living in Ohio and just taking care of his kids and family and stuff. So we're super fortunate, but our brain is hardwired from the past, right? We haven't caught up to our convenience of lifestyle right now. There's lots of survival mechanisms in the body that allow you to view the glass as half empty instead of half full. So where do you land? There's different ways of managing this, different types of self-talk, perfectionism, and polarizing. Things are either good or bad. There's no middle ground. I can't tell you how many people come to me with that all or nothing and attitude and energy. It's not going to work. I promise you. I've been doing this way too long. We have to find that middle gear or that middle ground, that ability to be able to manage the everyday life impact while still moving yourself forward. That's a real thing. It can happen. I'm very good at helping people figure that out. But it does take a minute depending on how entrenched you are in your beliefs about certain situations. If you're not perfect, you're a total failure. Well, there's no one's perfect. And humans are inherently not going to be perfect. So that's a fallacy that you should not believe. Personalizing. What happens when we personalize? You blame yourself for everything bad that happens. It's always your fault. Well, the reason that person got a little too close to you while you were driving, maybe it was your fault, or maybe they were in such a hurry that they misjudged how much room they had when they were trying to get in front of you to pass. That in and of itself could totally be the situation. We got one. Hit up the chat. So OMG, I do all of these things, right? These are just common behaviors that, over talking with thousands of people, I see it and I am inherently defendant. Last night even, my last client call was with a woman who has 3 kids, 10 and under. She's married. She's in her mid-30s. She is a business owner. She has 20 employees, and she's trying to run a marathon in 5 weeks and then another one in 3 months after that. She wants to do this ride or die, all or nothing situation. I'm like, Christy, this is not going to work for you. And she was, disappointed in what her scale weight was. She weighed the same from 1 week to another. In my world, she did amazing. She added not just hundreds, but probably 2,000 more calories in the week to fuel her runs and fuel her productivity. She was eating out. She was doing Labor Day weekend. She did all these things and she was able to eat more food and show up at the same weight. That is tremendous because for her, we have a performance agenda, but we also have a body fat agenda as well. And so we're talking through these things that help manage her expectations of herself and what is realistic for her to do with all those things. 20 employees, husband, 3 kids. She wakes up early on days that she runs, on like Tuesday, Thursday, like 4 a.m. to squeeze it in, because after school hours are family time. So she is leveraged to the brim. So we're managing this all or nothing. What else? If a friend cancels plans, you assume it must have been your fault. Of course. It's me. They didn't want to spend time with me. They didn't want to, I don't know, I have bad breath. I wear silly clothing, or I don't know, it could be all that. So here we go. Another input. If I'm the same weight, I think I didn't lose weight, I'm bad, instead of, well, at least I didn't gain any new weight. Yes, it definitely is a situation there. Now, with that particular thing, we're going to look, if you're working with me, we're looking backwards at the week and talking through what happened, why it happened. And the idea of working with a professional is that you're getting personalized individual instruction around science-backed information that gets applied to you every day. So there was definitely a plan that was put into place, and there's a lot of opportunity for communication and feedback for you to be able to be on the right path and be constantly reinforced and supported with positivity that you're doing the right thing. So if we had a weight loss goal, I'm going to tell you all the strategies you need to do to show up the next week losing weight. Catastrophizing, you dream of the worst possible outcome. Oh my goodness. There's some wild things that can be created from just something happened and all of a sudden, we'll go back to the road rage. Someone cuts you off, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, there's a car flipped upside down on fire in front of you. Holy moly, where did that come from? That's worst case possible outcome. Small issues are indications of doom. Let's think of doom scrolling, right? That's a thing where people are constantly looking for the negative on their news feed. They're showing up with understanding they're not they're only seeing the bad stuff. Well, I hate to tell you again, humans are generally more negative than positive. The evening news is 75% negative and 25% positive. So it's marketed that way. There's always a lack or a loss or a type of a marketing that gets thrown at you as well, that you're lacking something because you don't have what this person has, right? That's a general messaging of it. You don't have the secret tricks of how to lose weight and maintain weight loss for the rest of your life, and I do, and I can tell them, and it's this blah 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 money and whatever. Those are that's a marketing strategy. Lastly, filtering, searching for the negative aspects of any given situation, filtering out the positives. So filtering the green. So I'm looking at a bunch of green, and I can filter out all that green, and I see that one spot of looks like dying bush there, but it's not. There's things on it, so it's just not. It's not as green as the tree that has leaves on it. Green. All right. What are your thoughts? Another quick input here. What are your thoughts on social media and how they fuel negative thoughts? Again, humans are drawn toward negativity. You're going to spend more time watching something that's negative than you are likely to spend time watching something that's positive. It's just the way it's going to draw your attention. A natural disaster, things that are unfortunately negatively happening in your world. Think of the presidential campaigns and the political campaigns. They're always negative, fueling to see the person and the opposite party's person in a negative light. So my thoughts on the social media, what I do, I'm posting, I post things around health, fitness, nutrition, progress, people's successes and stuff. And then I leave. I'm not scrolling. I don't get 2 scrolls and I'm out. I'm bouncing. So if you spend more than 5 thumb scrolls, you're in it way too long. There's usually nothing but lost time as a result of social media. So that's kind of my thoughts. we don't need to spend a lot of time there. If you have certain people you follow, go check their stuff, or family members, check their stuff and bounce. You shouldn't be spending hours on social media day in and day out. Here's another question. Sometimes even the positive things can make people feel bad because of comparison. Yes, but also that could be your filtering of the situation. So this is the last thing here, is like searching out for negative aspects of any given situation. So someone saying, oh, I graduated in cum laude and all this stuff, and then someone else is feeling bad because they're whatever their situation is. Well, that is, it could be a filtering situation. And that person probably worked pretty hard to get there, did a lot of time, effort, energy, and study to allow that. And you always have the ability to study more, to learn more, to grow more, to build yourself up and all that. So here we go. Another one. Social media completes the illusion of a perfect life and a perfect world. 100%. No one's telling you all the things that are not going well in their life. Nobody wants to share that. So like, I'm going to share the travel that I've done. I've slept in like 9 states. I've gone to multiple continents. I've done like a lot of different things in the last year, but I'm not going to tell you that I spend 12 hours on phone calls with clients most days. Why? Because I need to make the money to go do those fun things. But that's the cost of the lifestyle that we want. But you're not going to see me, say, posting that type of stuff. Like, oh, I had 5 people yesterday turn me down. They were looking for help. I gave them a very individualized approach that fit their specific lifestyles and their needs, and they still said no because they got in their own way for whatever reason. And maybe we weren't a good fit. Like, that does happen occasionally, but anyone I talked to yesterday definitely could help. But they couldn't get out of their way to spend the money, spend the time, whatever the situation was, they said no. So I spent like 3 hours on the phone yesterday just to do that. Now I could be like, well, it's me. I'm like, well, no. Like, I've helped a lot of people over the last 20 years improve their health and their life. I've seen the positive benefits of it. So it's not me. It just didn't click, didn't resonate, like whatever. They got off the phone with me and then something else happened. Like, who knows? Literally had someone just in the last week, their husband got laid off. And that happened like right before a phone call. So it has nothing to do with me. It's their circumstance, and I can't see it in a negative way. Like, it has nothing to do with me. But like, I can still coach that person through that stressful time and situation to help them stay empowered in their food and choices that they have for themselves. Now, let's keep scooting through because I can talk a lot. Please share your contact. I need to schedule a session. It's just my name, brianprana.com is probably the easiest way. Brian with an I, then PARANA.com. That's the easiest way to find me. So if you are interested, but let's see this. I'll just put this in here. There you go. Pretty simple. Oh, I don't want to send it to me. I'm going to send it to everyone. If you're interested. So, but that's, this is what I do. I talk a lot and I'm very motivated, inspiring, insightful. I try to be, at least. So I'm human too. All right, determining success and failures. Let's move on. So internal, and individual attributes their success to their own actions and abilities, right? Like, I control my destiny. These individuals expect to succeed and are motivated to learn. I definitely identify with that. I'm a very strong individual, like internally motivated individual. And I see that my success is my choice. I have power and choice over how well I do. Like, I had 5 opportunities yesterday to influence someone. I was actively seeking those engagements yesterday, and the doors opened up for me to receive those. External, and individual attributes their success to luck or fate. Some people do that. It's like they roll the dice when they wake up and like, well, it's not sunny today. I guess it's going to be a gloomy day. And they just let like the sunshine to dictate what is going to happen in their life. That does happen. They may feel anxious because they do not believe they are in control. Oftentimes in life, we can do that. We can be made to feel that way. We could be taught and groomed that way from our childhood of not feeling in control. So we choose to have a good day. I love it. I 100% agree with you. And even if you have something bad happens, like the lady, literally it happened 5 minutes before we talked. My husband just lost his job and they called 5 minutes before we talked. Well, that's a very stressful situation regardless, right? All of a sudden, like you went from, hopefully there's a severance package or some sort of something, but grass could be really greener. Like, hey, Jim, you could actually just choose to get out of the career path that you've been feeling maybe stuck in for too long and it's stale and stagnant, and go do something more fun. Literally, it could be an opportunity for grass is greener. So that's just a very optimistic versus pessimistic observation there of what that could be. So pessimism is setbacks. Optimism is opportunities. Reversing the thought process. So how do we turn this ship around, right? Sometimes turning a large ship takes a bit of an effort, right? Like if you're like, if you want to turn the ship around, it's going to take a long time. Yeah, but also if you got a tugboat to latch onto the front of the ship and steer that thing and pull, you could get turned around very quickly. So again, it goes back to the way you think. Habits don't have to take 21 days. We could have a cold turkey type situation where you're like, I'm not doing X anymore. Example, like get diagnosed with lung cancer. I'm not smoking anymore. Like if you're a long-time smoker, that could be a cold turkey situation where your habits shift quickly. But we, as humans, we don't want to wait until, my waistline has expanded too many times. My scale has gone up. My doctor keeps telling me I have more and more diseases. That's not a good time to act. There's no time better than now to take action, but the writing's on the wall, like you aren't doing things right. So how do we shift that? So what's going on in your brain, controlling them, understanding your positive or negative attraction. Like I'm more of a positive drawn person and some people are more negative. Some focus on self-care and some don't pay attention to the body at all. Oftentimes I'll have people that just like, I got up, I started working and next thing you know, it's 3:00 and I haven't eaten anything. Well, that's your choice. You could have eaten twice by then. Like most people would have eaten before like noon and around noon before 3. And so like you're choosing not to do that because you're getting so hyper focused on something else. So being aware is the first step. How do we build positive circuitry here? There'll be a recording available. We'll be able to get that. There's an email at the end that I'll give you to be able to reach out. I do got to start moving. I like to talk. So, we gotta hustle. So building positive circuitry. So how do we start connecting positive to? So spend 1 minute looking for positives 3 times a day. That can be a really easy activity. Repetitive actions will rewire yourself. So maybe you start a walking group at lunch, and that movement is energy, and the act of like getting up and moving, going outside while it's in Atlanta, it might still be hot, but it's starting to turn real nice. That could be really positive energy that you bring into the afternoon energy with yourself and your coworkers. Ignore negative Nancy's. Hopefully there's not a Nancy here. We don't want to, just Nancy's are nice too. There's nice Nancy's, right? But we want to be conscious of the people. Those who surround you influence you significantly. The 5 closest people will give you the energy or make you think in a way. So you need to make sure that you are guarding yourself, being realistic, choosing power of choice. I love that saying, and I tell people, you're choosing to make food for yourself or choosing for someone to make food for you every single day. We know that the people that generally take good care of themselves more often than not choose to make their own food because they can control what's in their food. They're not letting McDonald's, Chipotle, Red Lobster, like Outback, whatever places dictate what goes on their plate or in their body. You can never predict the results of your efforts, but you can always choose the next steps moving forward, right? We always focus on the inputs that we have control over to influence the outputs and the results that are reflected in our behaviors. We look ahead for optimism and use any failure as a learning experience, right? Every single activity in your life that you do is a learning experience, and that's part of that. Life is a journey situation so that you learn from your experiences and you improve those situations so that as you grow wiser and more wisdom, and people look at you as like, oh, this person has their stuff together. Like, I do have a much better life than I did like a decade ago. When results are disappointing, you adjust your expectations. What's the next step of doing that? So do we ruminate or problem solve? Like, this whole undertone of what I've been talking about is like we're going and seeking out problem solving solutions. Anyone in this group here today, the 19 of you that showed up, we're looking, you only want, the other person coming into your room with a problem-solving solution mindset when they ask questions. Not just be like, I'm going to dump this on you and I'm not going to do anything beforehand to help make it easier for you and I to collaborate on how to problem solve this situation. So we want to always be thinking about these things and finding what's the best next step to move things forward. Take your own medicine. People are overly critical of themselves. They beat themselves up. They magnify the situations. Self-compassion can definitely go a long way, improving your health, your mindset, your body image, your self-worth, your esteem. Self-love can be very powerful, and surround yourself for that. We got another question. My former manager or a comment taught me to always bring one solution when there's a problem. I love that, right? And then people see you as okay, when she has something that's a challenge, she's not like this dragon is going to weigh me down, which is awesome. Be in tune with yourself. How do I feel? And take a moment to pause. You don't have to just jump into a situation and just go, and be fueled by anger or sadness or something. We can pause, take a moment, think through what you're going to say, what you're thinking, what your actions are, to not chase the person who cut you off, and then you're in road rage, and then you get in an accident. It's your fault, and that guy sped off, long gone, and now you've caused an accident because you got swept up in this sudden situation, came out of nowhere. Running with that example there. Now, balancing your emotions with logic, right? Humans are naturally emotional, but we can balance that with logic. And that's something that I do really well with is finding logic in the rationale or the thought processes and stuff. And again, this is like stop and take a moment and think through what the next steps are going to do. So you don't say something you regret. You don't have to go back for an apology. You don't have to whatever. At the very least, kill them with kindness. Count down, take some deep breaths in, 10, 9, 8, 7, and that will allow that time to cool off and better yourself. So I know we're starting to run out of time here pretty quick. For you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this so far. I have, hopefully you can tell. What other stress-reducing techniques do you find helpful in difficult situations? I'm going to go with a journal. I'm going to go with talking to a friend. I'm going to go with finding like a meditative headspace or calm or YouTube video. I'm going to go walk around. I'm going to get out of the situation that I'm in to be able to think through what it is. So I have one that's deep breathing. There are breathing apps to you can do as well. So into the home stretch, I know I'm kind of going quickly here. One sits outside. We have some deep breathing. We are just being mindful, praying, self alone. one thing, we have a daily gratitude. If you start your day or end your day with positive things that happen, things go well. There's so many things of mantras. I have on my website, and things I use is the I am statement. I am beautiful. I am active. I'm funny. I'm happy. I am strong. I am bold. I am courageous. We can use all these adjectives to describe us, to give us the energy, the positive outlook, the determination to then move forward in the difficult situation that we are in. Writing it down, if you're thinking, you can put it on paper, and you can then slow down this runaway train up here and pause. Writing it out slows things down, gets you to think through what your thoughts are, to acknowledge some of the thoughts, and then you can start to deal with them appropriately. A lot of things that people are saying, like staying centered, breathing, thinking, bringing your calm, your om of like yoga back to yourself. And of course, being in the present. Like, don't do 8 things at once. Like, if you're working out, work out. Don't be like doing whatever else. Like, be present with the people that you're in. For the love, please. Don't go into situations and have your phone in front of other people. We don't want to do that. We want to be present. We want to be focused. We want to be engaged. Like, I'm here with you now, and hopefully you felt that energy flow in a good way. So, all right. Eat well, drink well. You are what you eat. So we need to be able to drink plenty of water, eat the healthy foods, balance meals, get to sleep, stop spending so much time scrolling or watching things that, let's be honest, most people waste the last hour of their day by just mindlessly doing something that doesn't actually is productive for them. So staying up too late watching TV, yeah, that's fun and all, but then the next day you only got like 4 hours or 6 hours of sleep, and you're a little behind, so to speak. Be kind, not only to yourself, but to the others around you. They will appreciate it so much more. You'll be such a better work environment. Swapping out negative thoughts with positive ones. I will never get this project done, to I will complete this project if I focus on these 2 important tasks. Then it gives you 2 things to focus on. And as soon as you check those off, then you get another 1 or 2 things, and you can move it along. Positivity action. I am running over now. So apparently we didn't need those extra few minutes in the beginning to get started. I talked too much. So answer this question. Writing it down, 3 things you love about yourself. Take a picture of this. 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you're good at. A challenge or 1 positive step you can overcome, and take advantage of it by staying positive. So there we go. Thank you. 1 minute passed. I hope that you've gotten a lot out of this. I sure have. I've really enjoyed delivering on this. We have wellness_services at wellable.co if you have any questions. Really appreciate the time that you had, all the engagement. It just makes it more fun for both of us involved, all of us here. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll try and get you out of here on time. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.